Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Solid Blue Sister, and welcome to My Turn to Talk. Yet today, something else in the news. Something else is going on. Um, you know, once again, we are talking about something crazy someone said or something crazy someone did, and once again, we're talking about the N-word. Once again, we're talking about the N-word being said on a House floor, on a Senate floor, City Council. And these are supposed to be elected officials. Let's go to Alabama. In Alabama, we have an official on the student council who called a Black woman who was also on the on the city council, a house nigger. And it seems like more and more white people who are elected officials are getting comfortable just using that word. So let's take a look at what this person said. So hold on, I will share this.
She calls us blacks. I'm the other black girl.
Let's get to the N-word.
I mean, I know I'm black.
Do we have?
You want to address what I have to say?
Do we have a house in here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do we? Hey,
Yeah.
do we? Would she please stand up?
Y'all are seeing this, right? Cameras. All right.
That's what Miss Freeman was called.
That's what the mayor called her. What do y'all think about that? Huh? Y'all like that?
He told my husband he is rich and can live anywhere he wants to. This was after he belittled Tarrant and said only poor people live here. He seems to think being mayor made him God. As for how he got elected, he sent vans to pick up people who probably never voted before. He promised them things for their participation to get a Black mayor elected. Not sure if he paid them anything or brought a meal for them to come, but there was van after van with this name on them coming to City Hall. Of course, they were all full of Blacks, smiley face.
Okay, there are a couple of things disturbing about this video. You have this woman who was called, is there a house nigger here? Basically talking to her. She's in tears. This woman is in tears. And she finally gets up and she leaves, but the meeting goes forward. And apparently, this councilman has said that he is not going to resign. Other GOP members are urging him to. He is a Republican. And he is not going to resign. He will probably run for mayor. And what's scary about that is if he does run for mayor, being in Alabama, he could possibly win. I mean, why not? I mean, more and more we are seeing members of the GOP just calling Black people out of their name. And this man, this white man, is not going to apologize. So once again, what we could very, well have is someone like this, if this man chooses to run for mayor, Russell Walker, like I talked about yesterday. This is in North Carolina. Alabama is even worse. Why are these people even allowed to get this far? Why is this man even allowed to run for public office? Why is this Russell Walker allowed to run for public office? Why is this, Tommy Tarrant allowed to sit on the city council and ask one of his colleagues if there's a house nigger in the house? I got another one for you. Let's look at this.
If we leave here, it's because we're pursuing somebody that committed a crime too.
Why are you guys talking to this guy? There's nothing he can say or do short of quitting his job that means anything. None of this goes anywhere or means anything.
So because
I don't have any fucking cop, dude. Put down. You're a class traitor. You're working class. You probably make 70 grand a year, just like we do. And yet you're policing us.
You can have your appointment.
Blah 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 blah. You guys are in the wrong right now.
I've been called Uncle Tom. I've been called Turncoat. It was wrong. And here.
What did you just say? What'd you say to him?
I said to do something.
No, what'd you say after that?
Nigger with an A.
So
with an A.
So you're here for Black Lives Matters, but you're using the N-word.
What the fuck are you here for?
No, I'm just curious.
Motherfucker,
I'm just curious. You're using the N-word, but you're here for Black Lives Matters.
You really honestly live in America in 2020, but you don't know the difference between a hard ER on the end of the N-word and an A.
So you're saying white people can say that?
I just did.
Oh,
to this guy right here.
Interesting.
And you know which white guy specifically? The one who's been standing over there for hours holding a Black Lives Matter sign.
So that means you can say whatever you want.
White cuck.
That means whatever you say, whatever you want.
Trump supporting fool.
Hey, you're the one holding the BLM sign and using the N-word. Wrap that together.
Have you never listened to rap music? There's probably, I would guess that there are 320 million people in the United States.
Yeah.
Probably 319 million of them have heard rap music at some point. Have you not?
So that means we can say whatever we hear.
Have you heard rap music?
That means we can say whatever we hear.
Have you ever heard it in your life?
That means we can say whatever
So
we
have
hear.
you heard rap music? So then you know the difference between an A on the end of that word and an ER.
I'd love to see you use
ER is
that.
what people like you say.
Oh,
People
really?
like you say stuff like that.
Yeah, you have no idea what I
Dumb
say.
or you're
In
a
fact-
liberal.
in fact,
you're standing over here talking to a cop. Fuck you and everything you
In
stand
fact,
for.
I'm the one who had a
You
problem with you
goofy
saying
fuck.
it.
You goofy fuck.
That shows you.
Fucking dumbass
That shows-
Trump supporter, whatever the fuck you are. What did you say? The N-word with an A on the end. Have you honestly never heard that? You've never
Yeah.
listened to rap music.
Just very
You've never hung
curious.
out with black people.
Just very
So you
curious.
really don't have a point here. You're just running your fucking mouth. You stupid fucking white guy. Fucking bitch ass.
Anyway, bro. That's like This guy can't say that shit regardless, bro.
There you go.
No matter what, you're supposed to say it, bro.
There you go. Facts over feelings, guys. Facts over feelings. How are you going to sit there and say you're for Black Lives Matters and you're dropping the N-word? I don't get that.
Okay, so,
An Irving ISD middle school teacher is on leave tonight after using
Hold on
inappropriate
one
language
second
during an
here.
assembly for a group of 7.
all right, so, what do we think about that? Okay, we have a visitor in here and I'm not sure who they are. So I'm just going to put you on mute and ask you to rename yourself. Okay, so we have Tommy Tarrant in Alabama who called a colleague, asking if there's a house nigger in the house. And then we have a white Black Lives Matter supporter who feels it's okay to, use the word nigger, either with an ER or an A, regardless, shouldn't have said. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand why people think that it's okay. Why white people think it's okay to just to say that. And with these elected officials like Tommy Tarrant, it seems like more and more they're going on to some public meeting, Senate floor, either whether you're in Washington or, in DC, or if you are, on the state level, in this case, a city council, then it's okay to say, nigger, yeah, nigger. We need to do something about the niggers. It seems like it's happening more and more. Like we're reaching back into the 50s and the 40s and the 30s. And Republicans get upset when people who look like me say that, yes, there is Jim Crow 2.0. Now, on a lot of my shows lately, I've been talking about critical race theory and how important critical race theory is. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with the term critical race theory. I say we should call it, let's take a look at all history. Let's take a look at the complete history of America. What is a house nigger? What is a house nigger? Where did that term come from? House nigger came from the plantation, where you had slaves that worked in the house and you had slaves that worked in the field. The slaves that worked in the house were called house niggers. The slaves that worked in the field were called field niggers. And once again, those were terms that were given to Black people by white people. And supposedly, if you worked in the house, you were better off, or thought to be better than, the people who were in the field. But the way I see it, if you're a slave, you're a slave. Whether you're in the house or you're in the field, you are a slave. And by this Tommy Tarrant in Alabama calling his colleague and asking if she is a house nigger. Are there any house niggers in the house? What are you calling her? The fact that you could lower yourself to demean someone else. Hence another reason why we need to talk about the entire history of America. Let's talk about it all. You can't glorify one thing without talking about what's on the backside. You can't put a statue up of someone and say, oh, he was a great general. He was a great president, without talking about the flip side of that great general and that great president. See, I'm probably one of the very few Black people, Negroes, colored people, African Americans in this country who feel that Confederate statues should not come down. They should stay up. And people who know me know my reason why. And people who have listened to some of my past shows know my reason why. When you take down a Confederate statue, you're not hiding the fact that, okay, this person, was a racist. Let's put his statue in some warehouse. You're erasing part of our history. You're erasing part of the history of America. Now, on that plaque, it may say, like I said, how great of a person he was, and he fought this and he did this and he won so many, battles or what have you. Let's talk about the flip side. Let's talk about the flip side of Robert E. Lee, of how racist he was. I mean, in that case, you have to go to the US Capitol or go to the White House and take down the majority of the statues that are in those buildings, the majority of the portraits that are in those buildings. We have had white senators on both sides of the aisle, both Democrat and Republican, who have gone onto the House floor, House of Representatives on that floor, and stood up and made speeches and called Black people niggers. Yes, I'm saying Democrats. See, because when the GOP really was the party of Lincoln, it was the Democrats who were keeping us down. I mean, they still are, but not so much as the way the Republicans are. Then they flipped the switch around the time that Franklin Roosevelt came into office, even though Franklin Roosevelt was a racist. You have senators who have gone on the House floor and who have basically said, there's only one way to deal with a nigger, and that's with a gun and holding up a handgun, or back then a pistol. Why is this allowed to happen? Why do people like this continue to get voted into office? Why are we still having this conversation in 2021? I don't know. But what I do know and what I believe is it's going to get worse, because there are certain factions in this country who are just begging for a race war. They want it. They've been practicing for it. They've had practice runs. Some people may think that I'm far-fetched. Okay. But look at what has happened, not just over the past 5 years, but over the past 10 years, over the past 20 years. Has anything really changed since civil rights? Tulsa and Rosewood are not the only African-American communities that have been burned down. You have the Elaine massacre. You know, there are just so many. The lynchings, the beatings, the cross burnings, the segregation. I'm not good enough to sit next to you on a bus, but you want me to come in your house and not only clean it, but I'm supposed to cook and serve your food too? What kind of sense does that make? We are living in a country with so many different cultures, so many different ethnic groups. How dare one particular group think that they're better than the other? You know, like Rodney King said, can't we all just get along? After he got his ass beat. I mean, we're supposed to be this melting pot. You know, I was listening to the news, earlier, and listening to, everything that's going on in Cuba, and how Biden is, giving these sanctions, saying, we're watching you on how you're treating peaceful protesters. Well, I didn't say to Biden, Mr. President, what about what's going on in this country and how peaceful protesters are treated? Let's not worry about what's going on in somebody else's country and what they're doing to their citizens. Let's look at what's going on here first. Let's look at the murderous insurrection that happened on January 6th that the GOP, they just don't want to talk about, that they tried like hell to blame on Black Lives Matter. Not a Black person in the bunch, because if Black Lives Matter had been at the Capitol, and Black Lives Matter had been breaking in and breaking windows and, defaming the inside and the outside of the Capitol, they would have been shot dead. They wouldn't have even been able to get into the Capitol. They wouldn't even have gotten as far as the steps. They wouldn't even have gotten on the grass of the Capitol. So that alone right there was just stupid. But let's take care of what's going on in this country first. Instead of worrying about what's going on somewhere else. Because we have so many things in this country to fix. So when we talk about America, and how great America is, make America great again. What does that mean? Make America great again for who? I mean, you had a Louisiana elected official who said, if we're going to talk about critical race theory in school, we should talk about the good part of slavery. And another person had to call him out. What was good about slavery? What was good about slavery? I mean, slaves didn't make money. You made money on slaves or off of slaves. The North and the South financially prospered because of slavery. And one reason that America became such an economic powerhouse was because of slavery, was because of people who look like me, was because of my ancestors who were slaves. And along the way, my great-great-grandfather, my 3 times great-grandfather, who was white, who was a slave owner, raped my 3 times great-grandmother. What was so good about that? The other day we were talking about Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings. This old man raping this 14-year-old girl over a period of years. Had 8 or 9 children with her. What was great about that? So when you talk about Thomas Jefferson, let's talk about the other side of Thomas Jefferson. Let's talk about the person that he was. Let's talk about Thomas Jefferson, the slave owner. Let's talk about George Washington, the slave owner. Let's talk about John Adams, the slave owner. Let's talk about John Hancock, the slave owner. Let's talk about the fact that during the Revolutionary War, the first man to die in the Revolutionary War that got shot by the British was Crispus Attucks, a slave, a Black slave, who was fighting for his country. But yet we have elected officials who will go on to, in a public forum, and ask if one of their colleagues is a house nigger. This is what we have. How is this possible? But yet, America, we're the land of the free. We're the land of the free. We're the home of the brave. But mainly we're the land of the free, where all men are created equal. When that line was written, it was written for white men. They weren't talking about women. They weren't talking about Black folks. They weren't talking about Latinos. They sure as hell weren't talking about Native Americans. You know, you had your missionaries who came to talk to the savages. Talk to the savages. You know, you all are savages. You know, you need to dress properly and, you know, cut your hair and wear proper clothes. Pray with us. Yeah, they prayed. And when they opened their eyes, they had the Bible and the white folks had the land. And you know I'm right. There's just, you know, too many things in this country that need to be fixed. You know, they're already, once again, you know, taking away our right to vote. And I said it once before, I think the GOP is trying to be the one party in this country. They want to have a one-party system, one-party rule. And Black folks, I'm not talking about, once again, I'm not talking about Asians, I'm not talking about Latinos, I'm not talking about Native Americans, you know. We need to have a Black or economic Black boycott across the board, all 50 states. Only shop in Black-owned businesses for 1 week. The amount of economic power that we have, we need to shut it down. I say again, an economic Black boycott for 1 week in all 50 states. It will work. And if they don't want to listen, we do it again. And one place to stay out of is Walmart. They want to support racist GOP platforms. Okay. I'll buy my detergent someplace else. We need to stay out of stores that come into our neighborhoods who open up a business selling Black products, but treat us like crap when we walk into the store. See, Black people, we're a billion-dollar industry. We are a billion-dollar industry, and they know it. Places like Coca-Cola, anything dealing with your hair. You know, we found that out in the 90s. Black folks, they're making a lot of money off of hair care products. Let's go buy them out. Or let's try to do it. Yeah. Black people are a billion-dollar industry. And not only are we a billion-dollar industry on things that we use that are just specific to us, but we spend a lot of money. It's been noted. And we need to take that money out of circulation for 1 week. Once it has an effect, we do it again. You want to take our voting rights away? Okay. You want to call people house niggers on a city council forum, in a city council forum? Okay. You want to redline us when we go to buy a home? Okay. This is what we're going to do. We're going to stop spending money. I just showed a video of a Black Lives Matter protester who thought it was okay to use the word nigger with an A, N-I-G-G-A. And as he said, don't you listen to rap music? I don't care if you listen to it or not. It's not okay for you to call somebody that. And just because you're holding a BLM sign, you think it's okay? It's not. Hell, it's not okay for Black folks to call each other that word. But you, come on. I don't know. These are the times that we're living in. We're living in times of social unrest, increased violence, a pandemic. Yesterday evening, I was outside talking to my next door neighbor, and we were talking about the pandemic and people who have been vaccinated. And she asked me at one point, she said, why do you think this is happening? Why do you think this is really happening? I looked at her because I knew where she was going. And I told her, this is God. It's in the book of Revelations. This has been foretold. They talk about it in the Old Testament. This has been foretold. How we're going to have pandemics and social unrest. And I told my neighbor, I would not be surprised if in my lifetime, I actually see the end of the world. Because we are in Revelations, we are. You know, this drought, fires, floods, hurricanes. Yeah, it's global warming. You know, but it's also, you know, God, he's saying, I gave you all a chance. I put man on this earth. I even sent my son to die for you. And you all are still messing it up. So, yeah, I do believe in my lifetime, I will see, very possibly, that I will see the end of the world. You know, but we have so much work to do, and we are going backwards. So I don't know. I see Shy Lady has joined us. I know you didn't hear the majority of what I was saying, but I'm pretty sure you know what the topic was for today.
Yeah.
So do you have anything that you would like to add?
No, I'm do a little bit more listening.
All
See
right.
where I can fit in.
Well, since you are here, I would like to
My jurisdiction
replay
is
this
here.
for you.
If we leave.
Hold on. I would like to replay this for you. I sent you a link earlier today. Were you able to see that? On the LM supporter who uses the N-word?
Yes, I did see that. I was very, very surprised.
Okay.
But I was surprised to hear that, but I have seen videos where that word is used by non-Blacks. There was a video that I saw of a couple, a Latino couple, and the male was calling the female the N-word. And I was like, I'm confused, but my daughter has told me that in high school, a lot of Mexicans call each other that. And I was like, really? She said, oh yes, all the time to each other. And when I heard the man say that, I almost thought that he sounded like the non-Blacks that I hear use that almost like just a regular
just a regular word.
A regular slang. Yeah, exactly. A regular slang word. That's what it sounded like to me, that it's just a regular slang word now. It's so desensitized, and other ethnic groups are using it toward each other that it's almost just like people saying bro or my bad.
Mhm.
And I was just like flabbergasted when I heard it. But I said, you know what? He sound like a lot of these non-Black people that are using this word and are just totally oblivious to the meaning.
Well, it's interesting because we had a conversation. I don't know if you were on the show or not when Monica was on, and she said that these nouveau woke white people,
Mm,
who think that that all of a sudden that they're woke, but at the end of the day, when they go home, we're still Black and they're white, and they still have privilege that we don't have.
true. Very true. Very true.
So yeah, I appreciate you want to come out and walk with me and protest, but don't push it. Don't sit up here and then try to school someone on, don't you listen to rap? Don't you listen to rap? What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
You're trying to educate another white person on this word when you need to be educated yourself or re-educated,
Yeah. It's just, it just never ceased to amaze me the current climate that's going on these days. It just never ceased to amaze me. But like I said, some of them feel that they're so woke that they can say anything. And it's like, when my daughter told me that they were using it in school, amongst their own each other, she's like, yeah, they say it all the time. I was like, really? She said, yeah. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. I did not know that word is used like that, in all different groups.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about what Tommy Tarrant and this whole house nigger thing?
Oh my God. I saw the video and I saw how he tried to say, I'm just saying, what the other person said. But don't you understand that it's not okay? It's not okay. It's not okay. Again, if you have that much insensitivity toward Black people to use that, you definitely don't need to be in anybody's office, for even at the lowest level, councilman level. You don't need it. If you don't understand that, then you don't need to be in office at all.
Well, did
Period.
you see how the his colleague that he was making that comment towards, how she broke down in tears?
I didn't even get to that part. I stopped once I saw his rant and use of it. I just stopped and shook my head and said, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, she like literally, she broke down in tears, and to me it was bad. And she finally got up and she left the room. But but why should any of us be surprised anymore? When you have somebody like Matt Getz, who is an alleged who is an alleged what do you call it, pedophile. Matt Getz, who's alleged pedophile, but yet the GOP won't say anything. And you have, Matt Getz, who allegedly was showing nude pictures to other House members, whatever. Why are we surprised that somebody can, get on the floor of a city council meeting and use the word house nigger towards a Black woman?
I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Just like we shouldn't be surprised that someone was allowed to represent the highest title in the land as president, who said, grab women by the pussy. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
And it's only getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, before you came on, I was talking about how, once again, I think that we need to have the true education of, or the true and full education of America taught.
We should. We absolutely should.
And if someone wants to, put up a statue of the former guy, I say let him. Because while you have, the maggots out there who are going to, praise him, at the same time, when history is told, tell the flip side of it. And that's where, again, as I said before you came on, that we need to keep Confederate statues up. Because by taking them down, you're also allowing them to erase part of our history. They're already trying to erase us, period. So while you're talking about these people, let's talk, like I said, let's talk about the flip side of them. Because it's only just getting worse and worse and worse. And there's more to American history besides white American history.
Absolutely true. Absolutely. For so long, they've been the heroes.
They have.
For so long.
They have. And I was actually thinking about our conversation early this morning because I was up late watching a Western. And once again, the Indians were the bad guys. Of course, this was back in like the 50s, whatever, but the Indians were the bad guys and the good guys were the white people.
It's always been like that when it comes to Westerns. Indians were always the bad ones. They were always the bad guys.
And in this particular movie, it was The River of No Return with Marilyn Monroe and Robert Mitchum. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so you have these Indians, who are coming down and, they burned down his house. It was like, you took our land. And Robert Mitchum previously, like 15 minutes before, said, well, son, they may try to come down and fight us, but this land is ours. We took it. I built a house on it. It is ours. And I was like, that's right. You took it.
He took it. Yeah, they took it.
You took it. And the Indians did come down and they, burned their house. They burned them down. They had to run, on a raft on the river, hence the movie title, whatever. But I'm like, exactly what you just said. We took it. It was, it was theirs.
Yes. Yeah. That reminds me also, I don't know if you may have seen it in the news, but I think it was the Black woman. She's I think a prime minister of Jamaica or something. She's looking to get reparations from Britain for the the whole slave thing that happened over in the islands.
I mean,
once again, you've taken land that you've captured that didn't belong to you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you think about it, in California, when you have the Mexican-American War and everything and, fighting, whatever, California was part of Mexico until it was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you look at just the West period, you look at the West,
and Texas
and Texas and, and just, parts of the Northeast. I mean, hell, you look at this entire country.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are rightfully should have it are Native Americans.
Right.
So if you want to talk about, somebody needs to pay us, the Native Americans need to say, you need to pay us because that land that $1 million office building is sitting on is ours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when the Louisiana Purchase was made, it was like, screw the Native Americans, we're taking this land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so again, it's like, so when you teach the Louisiana Purchase, when you teach that in school, teach about exactly whose land that was. But see, that's not taught.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, when you talk about, you know, the Mexican American War and you talk about California, talk about how California was part of Mexico.
Yep.
Oh, let's talk about that. It did belong to them, and they did not like the fact that the gringos were coming over and they were taking them. And I must always have to point this out, that when the gringos were taking everything, when they were taking stuff from the Native Americans, along the way, keep your women away because they were raped.
Absolutely.
They were raped. Black slaves were raped. Native American women were raped. Mexicans were raped. Asian women were raped. You know, you look again at who built the railroad. It wasn't Rockefeller and his money, what have you. And when you see photos of the first railroad, you see all these white men in business suits. You didn't build the railroad. The railroad was mostly built by Chinese people, who, by the way, also came over to be part of the gold rush. And a lot of their claims were stolen from them after they struck gold. Their claims were stolen. So once again, it's like, do you all just take everything? Take.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we still didn't get our 40 mules in an acre.
And I'm still waiting for that mule. Don't know where I'll put it, probably in my backyard, but I want my mule. I mean, you know, the fact that not only did we not get our 40 acres, but the fact that you're still, when we built up something on our own where we were doing well and just weren't even paying attention to you. We were just staying in our own neighborhoods. You burn it down. You burn it down.
Yep.
You know, you all are doing just a little bit too well. So we're going to come and we're going to burn you down. We're going to burn you out.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't understand. So as our conversation yesterday with the Black Republicans, I want to know, what do you think about Tommy Tarrant on the House floor calling his colleague a house nigger? How do they justify that?
There is no justification. None. Absolutely none. It's appalling. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. It is disrespectful.
You know, I was looking at some of the comments from that, and I was looking, Black Twitter replied, and this one girl said, okay, I need the entire video for context. These explosive 10-second clips using the words house nigger needs to be fully talked about before a public ass whooping is rendered. I'm like, really? I don't care if it was 10 seconds or 10 hours. The fact that he said it,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean taken out of context and you need to see the whole video? You want to see the whole video? It's on YouTube. I saw the entire video. There's no justification for it.
It's not.
You know, so when you say this, until an ass whooping is rendered, I have a problem with what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I responded to her. You know, to me, now you're the problem.
Yeah. Any response from her?
No, not not yet, but a couple of people kind of responded the way I did.
Mm-hmm.
But now you are the problem.
Yep.
What he said was effed up, and he does need an ass whooping, but you need an ass whooping because what?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I look at Black Republicans like we were talking about yesterday. Are you going to blame this Tommy Tarrant on the Democrats? I mean, these are the people that you vote for. These are the people that you support, and you're going to turn a blind eye? I mean, I had a problem when the former guy called out that one, where's my African American? Oh, there's my African.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that guy was like, ha ha ha, here I am. I'm like, really? And then you look at the interview since then and how he said that he took a lot of flack because of that. Really?
I'm not a Republican, and I don't defend the actions of people like Candace Owens and Herman Cain, but I have to say that for him to have not acknowledged Herman Cain, one of his biggest Republican supporter, this man literally risked his life knowing he was older.
No, he died.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He gave his life away. He died. He risked his life to go to one of his campaigns or one of his little speeches, and he died. He died. He's right there laughing. They showed him right there laughing and applauding this former person and cheering him on. And when he died, he didn't even recognize him. He didn't even acknowledge him. That's worse than a slap in the face. I said, how sad and pathetic that is. He was one of your biggest supporters, risked his life to attend one of your functions, and you can't even acknowledge this man when he died. That was so pathetic. I was like, wow, that's really sad. If I was anyone in his family, in Herman Cain's family, I would be embarrassed and appalled.
But you know what though? But why are you going to be appalled when you, as a Black person, are going to go and listen to a racist idiot? Why are you appalled? Why? I mean, really? This is what you get because, and why even be appalled when you even went there and none of your family members had on masks?
Yeah.
You all are, sitting there taking selfies and everything. None of you have a mask on during the entire rally, when they're still showing, the cameras are on them or whatever. You're right. They're sitting there, they're clapping, whatever. None of them have on a mask. I was surprised that Herman Cain was the only one in that family that got sick. Now, maybe some others did, whatever, but I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel sorry for Herman Cain. Sorry. But
no, he took his life. He risked his life for something so meaningless.
Yep.
So
the person who you risked is your life for doesn't give a damn.
Exactly. What a pathetic and sad situation. This Herman Cain, the Black Republican. Mm-hmm. How sad.
It is. And what's sad is you still have these Republicans, Black and white, who are risking their lives, not getting vaccinated, not wearing masks. It is their choice. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to wear a mask. But if you die, okay, see ya. That's one less Republican vote. That's how I see it. You're going to choose to make the choice of not protecting yourself, and not only not protecting yourself, but your family.
It's idiotic. It really is. It's crazy.
when I was out yesterday evening talking to my neighbor, I told her, I said, I think that we are going to be living with COVID for the rest of our lives if at least 95% of the country is not vaccinated. We are going to be living with COVID forever. And not just the country, I'm talking about the entire globe.
Yeah.
Because Delta may go away, it's going to mutate into something else. So
Yeah.
me personally, I will continue wearing a mask. I will continue wearing gloves, whatever, but I was wearing gloves before COVID even started because people are just nasty. You go into these shopping, these grocery stores with these shopping carts and the keypad to put in your PIN number and all the other stuff. I'm not touching that.
You're right. It is some very nasty people out here.
And I can tell you,
my goodness.
I have not touched money. I have not had money in my wallet since last March. I don't touch it. And the few times that I have had to have access to it, I was at the ATM, had my gloves on, had a little baggie with me. That money went from the ATM machine. I had my gloves on, put it in a baggie because I was paying somebody, and that was it. But I do not touch money. If somebody wants to think they're going to knock me upside the head for cash, I don't carry it. I don't touch money at all. If we can't Zelle or something, sorry. Because it is just nasty, but
absolutely right.
To just not, you want to risk your life. And again, I say, it's not just your life, it's your family's life. And that poor little 5-year-old boy who passed away. I mean, it's like, even though only like 400 children have passed away since COVID, but that's 400 too many. It's unnecessary. And I guess I'm happy that I only live in a house with 2 other people. I don't have a whole lot of people in my house who are constantly coming and going, whatever, but the stupidity of people in this country is ridiculous. And unfortunately, they're voting for stupid, racist, idiotic people. And this Tommy Tarrant in Alabama has already said that he is not going to say he's sorry. And it will possibly run for mayor. And if he wants, these are the people, that's where these down ballots matter. This is where the city council folks matter, because that's someone who probably has their eye on the White House.
Could be, very possible. He's already, like you said, saying, I will be running for mayor. And it's up to everybody in Alabama in his area, and that whatever city he lives in, to go out and exercise their right to vote and not allow this man to win. They need to get out there and they need to heavily campaign and turn out in numbers to block this man from being elected to his next office that he thinks he's going to go into.
Well, Pandora just said that the mayor in that city is Black. And from reading the article, it seemed like that Tarrant and the mayor had gotten into some argument behind the scenes or whatever. But whatever reason it was, Tommy Tarrant had no business standing up and calling out house nigger. So
no, not at all.
So, but I will like to say, I do not, of course, tomorrow is Friday, so I do not broadcast on Friday, but my friend Pandora is going to help me out on Podbean. I'm going to see if I can live stream and do this correctly. If I can, I will send out the links to everyone. So hopefully as of Monday, my Monday show, I will be on Podbean.
Oh, okay.
So, and again, it's supposed to give you the option of either coming on with, either audio, or if you want to come on and everyone can see who you are, whatever. But of course, it will be more secure, and we'll see how that works. But my friend Pandora.
Excuse me, what time are you looking at for me to help you out?
whenever it is available for you. I am flexible.
Okay, because I have a doctor's appointment about 3:45.
Okay,
And then I have another appointment around 12-ish. So,
whenever it is.
okay,
You
I'll let
give
you
me a
know.
day and time and
Oh, okay.
we will see, because I've been testing it out by myself, but it's like, well, is this really working? So I can't, so that's like, I'm like, Pandora, can you help me? So yeah,
Okay,
so.
do a thing.
All right, well, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. You guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next time.
You as well.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Ladies, have a
Bye,
good
Pandora.
weekend as well. Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Okay, great
Okay, everybody
show.
take care,
All right.
as always.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
awesome. Bye now.
Bye.